Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Jonathan, and for today's practice, you're going to need a blanket and 2 blocks. So go ahead and grab your props, find a comfortable seated position on your mat, and let's get started. Once you're sitting comfortably, turn the palms face up. You might connect the index and thumb in Chin Mudra. Close your eyes. Just noticing those first few cycles of breath, flowing in through the nose, out through the nose. Taking a moment to ground before we move. And just registering how the body feels. Noticing your state of mind and your emotional state. And watch how that shifts over the course of our short practice. Start to lengthen each inhale and exhale. And as you lengthen the breath here, breathing into your belly, your ribs, your chest, taking up some extra space in the torso. Take one more inhale here, fill all the way up. Open your mouth, sigh out the breath. Connect your palms in prayer, heart center, thumbs rest into the sternum. You might take a moment to set an intention, something to carry with you through your practice. You can start to slide the palms together, build a bit of heat in between the hands. Once there's some heat there, cup the palms, hover them over the eyes, blink your eyes open. Nice, releasing the hands from the face, roll forward over the legs. Find your tabletop position. In your tabletop, turn the thumbs forward, the fingertips to the edge of the mat, and begin drawing circles with your torso. Massaging the wrists, waking them up. We're going to put a bit of weight into the wrists today. We're looking to bear the load in the forearms and shoulders and not just feel the wrists take all of that discomfort. Change direction with the circle. If you have popping and clicking going on, just notice where it's coming from and what that might be telling you about your body, how much you've been working, how little you've been working. Come back through to center. Flip the hands. Take the back of the hands to the floor, thumbs facing forward. If as you go to do that, it feels like, ow, my wrist, it really hurts. Walk the knees forward. Get them a little bit closer to the hands so there's more weight in the lower half of the body, a little bit less in the back of the hands. Push into the back of the hands to straighten the elbows. Elbow creases turn forward. Over time, you might load it up in tabletop. You can also tuck the toes, walk the feet back, and find a plank position on the back of the hands if it feels okay. If it doesn't feel good, you start to notice pain as opposed to stretch, then it's too much. So put the knees down, revisit this shape in tabletop. Might even go a bit to the left and the right, stretching the wrist extensors. You got one more big breath. When it's time to release, tuck the toes, carefully walk the hands towards the knees, and sit up on the tucked toes, stretching the soles of the feet. Interlace the fingers and roll out the wrist. You might notice a bit of sensation there, but it shouldn't feel like pain. Come back through center, palms turn face up. Bring the fingertips down towards the knees and roll the palms down towards the floor. Untuck the toes. Sit towards the heels, stretching the wrist flexors here. Grip into your fingertips. If you start to feel an elbow, it's becoming an elbow opener, and there's no such thing. So you might lift the hips away from the heels a bit, even add a bit of a bend to the elbows. So we keep the stretch in the wrist flexors and out of the elbows. Shoulders drop back and down, neck is nice and long. A few breaths here. You might even lean a bit to the left and the right, or bend the elbow a touch. Just checking in with the sensation in your forearms. One last big breath. As you sigh it out, lift the hips up away from the heels, carefully releasing. Sit towards the heels, interlace the fingers the other way, other thumb on top, and roll out the wrist. Go one direction and then the other direction. Nice. When you're ready, come forward, plant the palms, step back, Downward facing dog. Sit bones lifting up towards the ceiling as the heels press down towards the floor. Lift up and out of the shoulders. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, go back to down dog. Inhale, shift forward, plank position. Feel the load in the hands. Exhale, back to down dog. And one more time. Inhale, shift forward. Feel the shoulders strong here, pushing the floor away. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Take a big step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Inhale when you get there. Exhale, fold. Rooting down into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach for the ceiling, grow tall. Exhale, hinge and fold all the way over the legs. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, place the palms. Step the feet back to a plank. Lean forward, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heart pulls forward. Exhaling back over the toes. Downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels, give the head a little shake. We'll add on. Inhale, shift forward to plank. On the exhale, roll to the outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of the right foot, reach the right arm up, side plank. Come back through center, right hand to the floor, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, turn to the outer edge of the right foot, inner edge of the left, left arm reaches up, side plank. Release the left hand down to the floor, come back to plank, downward facing dog. Nice. Inhale, look forward, exhale, bend the knees, jump lightly to the top of the mat. Land as light as you can. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Rooting down into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, hinge and fold over the legs. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, place the palms. Jump the feet back. Go right to Chaturanga. Shoulders are at 90 degrees. Elbows are over the wrists. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heart pulls forward. Thighs are off the floor. Exhale, back over the toes. Downward facing dog. Again, adding on. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Turn onto the outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of the right. Right arm reaches up. Start to float that right leg up. It doesn't have to go very high. I want you to feel the abductors, the outer hip here, firing up. Release the right hand down to the floor. Shift back to plank. Downward facing dog. Again, inhale, shift forward, high plank. Turn onto the outer edge of the right foot, inner edge of the left. Left arm goes up. You start to float that left leg up. Again, doesn't have to go that high, but high enough that we feel the abductors, the outer hips, firing up and turning on. Release left hand down to the floor. Come back to plank. Vinyasa. Take Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heart pulls forward. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Exhale, back over the toes. Downward facing dog. In that down dog, you can be still and static or a little bit more dynamic, pedaling out the heels, reaching the sit bones up and back. Nice. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Jump as lightly as you can. You might even get a little bit of a hang time. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Big toes touch, knees hugging as you inhale, bend the knees. Reach the arms up. Chair pose. Utkatasana. See if you can sit down without using your hands. Flexing the ankles, step the feet towards the top of the mat. Squeeze the knees together. Take 2 blocks. Place them on your shins. If you don't have blocks, books, really anything that's kind of solid you can put over the shins. Even a pillow would work. Lean back, push the legs up into the blocks. Find your high boat, shins parallel to the floor. Try to lift the chest up a little bit more here. Engaged. Low boat, exhale. Back up to high boat. Low boat, exhale. Back up to high boat. One more time. Low boat, exhale. Back up to high boat. Remove the blocks. Now, if you have blocks, you can do this next move. If you don't have blocks, books, something that can weigh, you can put some weight into. Cross the right ankle over the left, push down into the hands, lift your bum up, and then put your bum back down. Again, pushing down into the hands, lift the bum up, put the bum down. One more time. Weight down into the hands, lift the bum up, put the bum down. You can put the heels down on the floor, blocks out of the way, wrap the arms around the legs. Give yourself a little squeeze. Notice where the effort was in those shapes. You can rock the length of the spine. Use a bit of momentum to rock back. Plant the feet. Come to chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift, inhale. On the exhale, step jump or float back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heart pulls forward. Exhale, back over the toes. Downward facing dog. Inhale, take the right leg up. 3-leg dog. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, send it up. Exhale, step the foot forward. Rise up, inhale, high runner's lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms back behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Lean forward over that right leg. Shifting more and more weight into the right foot. Float the left foot up towards the ceiling. Warrior 3. Drive that left hip down as the right hip tries to lift up. Little micro bend in the right leg if you need it. Pull the crown of the head forward. One more big breath. Exhale to bend the right knee. Place the left foot at the back of the mat. Reach the arms up, inhale. Catch the left wrist of the right hand. Pull that arm up. Squeeze right side body, lengthen the left. You can look down to the floor. Right hand to the right hip. Place the left elbow outside the right thigh. Palms come into prayer. Heart reaches for the thumbs. If you have more to give, maybe the arms can reach apart, or you can find a bind. Look up and over that right shoulder. Every exhale, drawing the belly button in towards the spine. Make the torso a bit taller. One last breath. Exhale to release the hands down to the floor. Lower the left knee down to the mat. If you have blocks, you might use blocks. Wiggling the right foot forward. Shift the hips back a touch. Left hip over the right knee. Left hip over the left knee. You're finding your Ardha Hanumanasana half splits. Pulling the hips back as the crown of the head pulls forward. Lengthening the back of that right leg. Now, if you'd rather work a little bit harder here as opposed to stretch, push down into the blocks or fingers on the floor. See if you can float that right leg up. So the effort is here in the core and the right hip flexor. Lift that leg a little bit higher. Inhale. Exhale, release the right foot down to the mat. Blocks out of the way, plant the palms, pick up the back knee. Step back, Vinyasa. Take Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, back over the toes. Downward facing dog. Really nice. From your down dog, this time walking your hands to your feet. Find a forward fold to the back of the mat. Toes turn out in line with the knees. Sink down into a deep squat. Elbows inside the knees. Heart reaches for the thumbs. Malasana. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So getting used to putting weight into the hands again here. Turn the palms forward, bring them down to the floor. Lift your bum up away from the heels and squeeze the knees into the upper arms. There's a pressure out and a squeezing in. Look forward and lean forward. Pick up one foot, maybe the other foot. Bakasana, hang out here. Squeeze the legs in as you press the arms out. Create that connection between your arms and your legs. Crow pose. One more breath. Can you squeeze your heels closer to your bum? And then put the feet back down. Fold over the legs. Shake out the wrist. Nod the head yes. Shake it no. Inhale, walk the hands to the top of the mat. Downward facing dog. Gripping into the fingertips. So we feel some strength here in the arms. Supporting the weight of the body as you jump forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Jump lightly to the top of the mat. Push down. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Big toes touch, knees hug in as you inhale. Bend the knees. Reach the arms up. Chair pose. See if you can sit down without using your hands. Heels step forward. Feet are flexed. So it's a little harder. This time, you're taking one block, pushing the shins up into that block, stack the other block on top, balancing. And if you lose the block, you're still a good person, don't worry. Shins are trying to be parallel to the floor, chest is lifting up. From high boat, moving slowly, find your low boat. Oh yeah. And then back up to high boat, try not to lose the block. Low boat. Back up. And last time, low boat. Back up. Remove the block. Ooh, almost fell. Blocks come down next to the hips. Use any other props you might have available to you. Crossing the opposite ankle on top. Push down into the hands. Lift your bum up. Put it back down. Push down. Lift up. Put it back down. Last time, push down. Lift your bum up. Put it back down. Heels come down to the floor. Blocks out of the way. Give yourself some love. Whew. Not easy. You can take the hands behind the knees as you rock the length of the spine. Use some momentum here. Rock forward, plant the feet, come back up into your chair pose. Utkatasana. Exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, place the palms, float back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, heart pulls forward. Exhaling back over the toes, downward facing dog. Nice, pedal out the heels. Take a really deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Left leg lifts up, inhale. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, send it up. Exhale, step the foot forward in between the hands. Rise up, inhale, high runner's lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms back behind you. Interlace the fingers the other way, other thumb on top. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Lift up through the heart. Start to lean forward. Take more weight into the left foot. Right foot starts to float up towards the ceiling. Warrior 3. Drive the right hip down as the left hip lifts up. Little micro bend in the standing leg if you need. Crown of the head pulls forward. Nice, parallel to the floor if possible. Take one last breath. Exhale to bend that left knee. Place the right foot at the back of the mat. Nice, you can inhale, reach the arms up. Catch the right wrist with the left hand. Pull that arm up. Squeeze left side body and lengthen the right. Look down towards the floor. Left hand at the left hip. Turn the heart towards the floor. Right elbow outside the left thigh. Palms can come into prayer and look up past the left shoulder. You can reach the arms apart. If you're finding your bind, reaching the right arm under the left thigh. Bind that left wrist with the right hand. Each exhale, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Make the torso even taller. One last big breath. Exhale to release the hands down to the floor. Lower the right knee down to the mat. Shift the hips back as that left foot wiggles forward a touch. Right hip over the right knee. Use blocks under the hands if you'd like. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Pull the hips back as the crown of the head reaches forward. If you're enjoying the stretch, stay with that stretch sensation in the left hamstring. If you're working a bit more strength, push down, lift the left foot up. So we feel a connection here between our core, our quad, and our hip flexor. One last big inhale, lift the leg higher. Exhale to release left foot down to the mat. Blocks out of the way, plant the palms, pick up the back knee. Step back, Vinyasa, that's Chaturanga. Inhale the upward facing dog. Exhale back over the toes. Downward facing dog. Carefully walk your hands all the way back towards the feet. Find a forward fold at the back of the mat. You might catch opposite elbows for a breath or two. Just feeling the connection here between torso and thighs, swaying a little bit to the left and to the right. Coming back through to center. Turn the toes out of touch. As you start to squat down, pause halfway. Hips the same height as the knees. Elbows into the knees, palms turn face forward. Crow prep, you can stay right here, still counts. Really find that connection between the elbow and the knee, or you can bring the palms down to the floor. Grip the knees into the elbows, look forward. Pull one heel or both heels up towards your bum. So it's a little different connection than squeezing the legs in, the elbows out. Knee to elbow connection here is a bit different. You can stay or play with taking one knee off the elbow, squeeze. Prep for one leg crow. Maybe switching sides, putting the other knee down, take the other knee off, squeeze. Return the knee, put the feet down, fold over the legs, give it a little shake. Notice where you're feeling sensation. You can start to crawl the hands back towards the top of the mat. Downward facing dog, pedaling out the heels. Noticing your wrists, your shoulders, your torso. Carefully lower the knees down as wide as the mat. Big toes touch the back of the mat. Find child's pose. Balasana. And as you settle into your Balasana, just notice the story your body is telling you. Where you feel like you have some strength, where there might be a bit of a deficiency of strength. All of our practices are probably changing a little bit. Missing some of our favorite teachers, I know I am. Missing some of our favorite classes, I know I am. Just missing people. Take one more big inhale. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Carefully walking your hands back towards the knees. Bring the knees together to touch. We're sitting in Thunderbolt Pose. In your Thunderbolt Pose, nice and tall spine, squeeze the inner thighs together, push down into the shins and feel your bum actually get a little bit lighter. So this is just kneeling, hanging out, sometimes watching TV. Thunderbolt Pose, tall spine, legs squeeze, bum lifts just a touch. We feel a squeeze in the legs here. It's not completely passive. Find your blocks, one on each side. You can do this without blocks as well if you're quite flexible, very strong. Giving yourself blocks gives you just a little added height. Blocks can be at the lowest setting or the medium setting. Push down into the blocks, press into the feet, begin to draw the knees up towards the chest. This might feel pretty good, just stretching the tops of the feet and the shins. Put the knees back down. All right, if you're noticing that was really tough on the wrists, the shoulder, right, as well as the core and the hips, tops of the feet, that's enough. We'll stop right there. We can add on a little bit by pushing down, lifting the knees up, pulling one heel up towards the bum, put it down. Other heel up towards the bum, put it down, lower the legs back down. Again, we make a decision. That's already pretty challenging, stay with that. It's probably enough. The last option will require a little bit more leaning forward, requires some wrist flexibility, forearm strength. Lolasana. Combines all of this stuff together, and I'm sweaty already, it's been short practice. Maybe you are too. Push down into the hands, squeeze the knees up, lean forward, pull the heels up towards your bum. It's like crow pose without the knees on the arms. When you're ready to come down slowly with control. Whew, shake out the wrists, might even roll it out a little bit. Now, it's not mandatory to be able to do a Lolasana before you perform a jump through in your Vinyasa classes. But if you can do a Lolasana in a static hold, then the jump through is going to be a lot more controlled. The shoulders, the wrist, the elbow, a lot safer during that process. Take the blocks off to the side. Nice. Come forward, plant the palms. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels. So before we practice our jump through, one more jump to the top of the mat without jumping through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Stepward jump as lightly as you can to the top of the mat. That amount that we push down, right, just on the jump forward to bring the feet to the floor, that's still a component when we do the jump through. Give yourself a halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale to fold. And rooting down to the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, draw palms through prayer. Samasthiti. Tadasana. Find your blocks and place the blocks at the top of the mats where your hands are going to go as we start to flow. So if it's not blocks, maybe something that can just elevate the hands just a touch, books, anything that can take your weight. Standing just slightly behind the blocks. Again, finding Tadasana. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold all the way over the legs. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, place the palms on the blocks, step the feet back. Lean forward, give yourself a Chaturanga on the blocks. Inhale, the upward facing dog. Thighs are nicely lifted off the floor with the help of the blocks. Exhale, back over the toes. Down dog with the hands on the blocks. So this gives you a little added height. You can have the hands just pushing flat down if the hands are small enough. If not, you might even be gripping the block a little bit. It can feel quite nice. So inhale, look forward. This version, exhale, bend the knees as you jump forward, cross the ankles. You might just sit to your bum. That might be the first step here to learn to jump forward and just come to a seated position. To come back out of it, push down into the blocks, lift the bum up, jump the feet back. We come back to a downward facing dog. So try it another couple times. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Cross the ankles midway and just sit down. So lightly sitting. The legs kind of bump into the arms a little bit, but you shouldn't feel like you're crashing through the arms. Let's jump back again. Lift the bum out. Push and jump. And last time. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Cross the ankles. Come to sit. All right. Push into the palms. We're going to jump back. Down dog. Now, for some of us, we might have noticed when we jump forward with the cross leg that it feels like, man, the arms are a bit narrow. I'll never get through. It's possible you'll need to take the blocks a little wider. So from your down dog, same idea, crossing the ankles, but we're going to push into the arms a lot more, like you're doing Lalasana. Hug the knees up into the chest, and see if you can keep the feet from touching the floor. Try to get your bum to the mat. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Jump through, crossing the ankles. Keep them from touching the floor. Sit down on your bum. Give yourself a little hug. If what you felt as you tried to do that was, ow, my shoulder, my wrist, my elbow, then it might be a bit too much, at least for today. You can just practice jumping to sit on your bum without hovering the feet. Let's try to jump back. So jumping back, just like when we were sitting and just lifting the bum, hovering the feet, adding on here, push, lift the feet, float the feet back through, and jump back. Downward facing dog, or maybe into a chaturanga. Let's do that just one more time, jumping through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Go to jump through, crossing the ankles. Sit down on your bum. Give yourself a little hug. Whew. Not easy. If you want to try to jump back just one more time, try to lift your bum as lightly as possible. Now, I jump back to like a plank down dog variation. You can also go right to a chaturanga as well. So I'll show that here. Lifting the bum up, floating through. We come to chaturanga, and then to an up dog. Back to a downward facing dog. Lower the knees down to the center of the mat. Untuck the toes. Move those blocks out of the way. Find a modified child's pose. Palms face up, little ways away from the feet. Softening down into the mat. Breathe. Especially with some of those strong moves, occasionally there's a tendency to want to hold the breath. Try to breathe into your low back, mid back, and upper back. One last big inhale. Open your mouth, sigh out the breath. Slide the hands forward, come up into a kneeling shape. In that kneeling shape, reach the arms back behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Bring the big fist towards the right hip, hugging the right elbow in. Lower the right ear towards the right shoulder. So we'll end up doing a bit of a neck stretch here. Occasionally, when we put all that weight into the upper body, the jaw and the neck starts to get tensed up, taking some of the load. We get a referral engagement. Try to relax the neck and the jaw here. Chin can turn down or slightly up. Looking for your unique bit of tension. One last breath on this side. Exhale to carefully release through center, release the hands. You can look over one shoulder and the other, roll the shoulders. And then we'll do the other side. Reaching the arms back behind you, interlace the fingers the other way. Bring the big fist to the left hip. Hug that left elbow in. Lower the left ear towards the left shoulder. Chin either turning down or slightly up. The tension might be a little different left to right. So give yourself that space to explore what you might need. Might be a bit different left to right. One last big inhale on this side. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Come back up through center, release the arms, look over one shoulder and then the other. So release some of that tension we built up across the chest and the front of the shoulders. Setting up a prop shape here. One block running the width of the mat. One at the medium setting, also running the width of the mat. I like taking a blanket sometimes and laying that over the first block to create a bit more cushion. Turn around, and as you lie back, have the block and the blanket catch the shoulder blades. Shoulder blades squeeze together and flatten out against that block and blanket combination. Block underneath the base of the skull, giving yourself some support, palms face up, little ways away from the thighs, or reaching out in a big T with the arms. Breathe some space across the chest, allowing this stretch here. If you have more to give, you might take the block that's under the base of the skull, turn it to the lower setting, or even completely removing the block and letting the head rest to the mat. If you have variations you enjoy using that seem to work better for you, take a variation that works to open your hearts, open the chest, open the shoulders. A few breaths here. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So one last big inhale. Open your mouth, sigh out the breath. To come out of the shape, bring the palms down to the floor, tuck the chin. Slowly sit up off your props. Take your time sitting up. Once you sit up, you might twist to the right and then to the left. Notice the sensation running up and down the spine. Moving your props off to the side, lie all the way down flat on your back. And once you're lying down flat on your back, take the feet a comfortable distance apart, have the palms face up a little ways away from the thighs. And just notice if the shoulders meet the floor, if left to right feels a little difference. The hips, if the hips feel level or a little difference, do you have a tendency to really engage one side but not the other? Settling into the mats. Hi, Abby. She's hiding in her bag today. If you're feeling kind of cool now that you've slowed down, grab that blanket and use it like a blanket. If you need longer lying here, you are welcome to it. You're always welcome to just let the video keep playing, or you can even reach over and pause the video if it's close by. Abby's making herself comfortable too. Just notice after all that effort, if your body is a little bit easier making the transition to ease. It's a little easier to soften and slow the breath. Start to lengthen your inhales and your exhales, moving your fingers and your toes. Inhale, find a stretch. Reaching the fingertips to the space behind you, toes to the space in front of you. And exhale to soften. Again, one more time, inhale to stretch. And exhale to soften. Pick a side and roll to it. In your own time, come all the way up into a comfortable seated position. Sit cross-legged or kneeling, really any shape where you can feel the foundation settle and the spine stack up nice and tall. Connect the index and thumb in chin mudra. Notice your breath flowing in through your nose and out through your nose. And take an inhale that fills the belly, the ribs, the collarbone, fill all the way up. Open your mouth, sigh out the breath. Palms connect in prayer at heart center, thumbs rest into the sternum. Check back in with your intention, and I invite you to carry that with you off your mat into the rest of your day. Thanks for being here to share this energy. Namaste. You can blink the eyes open. Thank you for being here. Hi, Abby. As always, if you have questions or comments, you have things you want to chat about with Queenie or I, please do feel free to leave a comment below here on the YouTube page. You can also contact us via our Instagram at Phair Yoga or our personal pages. We really appreciate all the support, your donations, telling a friend about our classes. We couldn't be doing this without all of that support. And Abby appreciates it too. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.